Morning.
Morning.
Everybody's joining now. Morning. Ooh, lots of us coming. Good morning. We'll wait a couple minutes. Just see if a few more join us.
Good morning.
So guys, this will not be a big class today because I don't have a chapter to teach you. This is just about your paper, which is due by this Saturday. So you're going to take a few quizzes about how to do the paper and how to do the correct references. But today's big thing is your paper. So I'm going to go over what your paper should look like. And again, a little thing about how to do the references in there. But as a reminder, you did your first research worksheet, which had its 4 or 5 different areas, and you wrote 4 to 6 sentences about each part of the article. And you now have to find a second article. Hopefully you already did it through Psych InfoNet, and you'll have the second article from Psych InfoNet. And I recommend that you write another research worksheet on the second one. So that way, when you combine the two articles, remember the second article has to have a relationship with the first one. And when I say a relationship, it could be a different age group, but the same theme. It could be the same age group, but the same topic with different variables. So for instance, if your first article was on music helping depression in elementary school children, then there are many different ways you could do it. You could find an article about depression in elementary school children that one article says it does help, one article says it doesn't. You could do depression on music in middle school or adults, or you could go with keeping that common theme of depression and do art impacting depression in elementary school students. So you need to find an article that connects somehow so that when you write this paper, you're writing it on both of the articles and what they found. So if you do the second research worksheet, you have your 4 to 6 sentences to put in each part. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you like 2. Let's say, take this one. Okay, let me minimize and let's go to, okay, so, all right, so the first thing I'm going to show you are some documents that, when we used to be in a classroom, we used to hand these out. So I just want you to see, this is the rubric of the paper. This is how you were getting graded. So you're getting graded on the content, the writing skill, and the APA format. As I said, If you do the wrong format of your references, you lose points right there. It's the easiest way to help yourself get points is doing the proper APA reference. Remember, it's hanging. So it starts and then it's indented. That's what hanging is called. You can look it up. It's super easy. It's the easiest way to guarantee a better grade. So what they're asking for under content is that you did a comprehensive overview, that your information was accurate and complete, and that it was organized, it was done well. Under writing skills, your paper needs to include all the components, and I'll show you all the components. And again, I'll put that on your module. That there was clean transitions, that there was sentence structure and syntax errors were not noted, that there were not grammatical errors or spelling papers. A good paper. And it's not that long. So here's an outline for your literature review paper. You start with an abstract just the same way that your article had abstracts, which was a quick overview about what you're going to talk about in your paper. So you can't use the abstract from the article because your paper is about something very different. Your paper is about comparing or contrasting these two articles. So you can't take the abstract from the articles because your whole thing is totally different. So you're introducing in the abstract, which is just a short paragraph about what the paper is going to be about. You briefly explain the main idea of your paper and the direction you will go. Then you're pulling the introduction and discussion part out of that research worksheet, and you're going to discuss the articles. So you're going to write about what the articles were about. Now you can do them separately or you can do them together, especially if they correlate together, you can do them together. Then you take the next parts of your research worksheet, implications and applications. This is what they want about the information. This is not the part, again, we're still not talking about your opinions. There's no opinions yet. This is the part where you're saying what they did and how they did it and you know, what the findings were. And then you are concluding with your beliefs, the last section of your research worksheet, which had to do with your opinions. That's your conclusion. Again, most important, list all the references you used. So remember, introduction, method and results, discussion and so what factor. Okay, so you're breaking it out like that. Okay, let me get rid of this one and show you what your paper should look like. Now, this is not an actual paper. This is what the paper will look like. At the top, it has the brief title in all caps, your title of your paper, your name, your Middlesex County College, and the date. That's all that's on page 1. Page 2, you have a little bit of the title and your abstract. This is where you write what the paper is about. The APA guidelines provide rules. They define an abstract as a brief summary of the paper, allowing readers to quickly review the main points and the purpose of the paper. It should be between 150 to 250 words. Abbreviations and acronyms used in the paper should be defined in the abstract. So look how they did this. That's why they put this here. If you plan on using the words APA, it has to be spelled out in the abstract. The American Psychological Association. Do not indent the first line of your abstract paper. All the other paragraphs in the paper should be indented. It's telling you exactly what to do, okay? Then we move on to the paper. Again, characters of title, title of paper. The title should be centered on the page. You type in 12-point Times New Roman font. It should not be bolded, underlined, or italicized. Check that your margins are set to 1 inch all around by clicking page layout at the top of the paper and then margins. Okay, telling you exactly what to do. The main body of your paper should begin right after the title. In the first paragraph, you will present the problem that the paper addresses. You do not need to include the articles you found in this paragraph. You might use another reference. You don't have to. I'm not telling you to use any other references. I'm telling you to just use the 2 articles. But if you want to be, throw in something you learned from your textbook, that's fine. Just remember, you have to reference this. If you put another reference in here, you have to reference it. In the rest of the paper, you will provide information on both of the articles you found. You can describe similarities in the articles and their differences. Be sure to include why these articles are important. And because all research has limitations, it's also important to discuss the limitations of the article under examination. A bunch of you guys did articles that were done in Sweden, and they were done on 20 college students. This would be the perfect point where you would say that there was a limitation on this study due to the fact that only 20 participants participated in it, right? That's a limitation. Conclusion and further research. The conclusion restates the problem addressed and can offer areas for further research. This is where your opinion comes into play. Under conclusion and further research, you can state here, I thought that this was a very informative study, though since only 20 college students were polled or researched, I think that if they did this in 5 different parts of the world using a minimum of 1,000 students, the results would have more clarity, or the results would be more valid or have validity. Things like that. That's the part where you guys get to talk about the information. Okay, so they're talking about headings next. Now, you can use the headings. If you would like to use the headings on the research paper to organize your paper, that is absolutely fine. If you feel that you're going to have a problem with the flow of the paper, you can use headings. So it says headings are sometimes a useful way to organize your paper. Sometimes your professor will ask you to use headings to break up your paper so that it is clear which section is answering a particular question. If you choose to use the headings, and I'm leaving that up to you, headings should be centered and bold. For multi-part questions, you may use subheadings, which should be left aligned and bold. Forget about this. You're not using any subheadings. No subheadings. You can use headings. You're not using subheadings. Perhaps the most important part of APA style is citation and references. As you write, you should be continually citing your work. Every time you draw information from an outside source, even if you have put it into your own words, you must provide a citation back to the original source. Now, I'm not going to go hog wild where you have to with every sentence. Since the paper is written on the article, I need to make sure that the references are correct. But if you use their terminology, you have to cite it. So many of those research worksheets used words that were definitely not your verbiage. So let me go back to week 5. I think I wrote down some things. Oh, I don't have it on here. I wrote down some things that people had written, and they were words that no college student nor college professor would even use. They were research words. So if you use anything that is not your own terminology, you must cite it. Okay? This is usually done by providing the last name of the author and the year the source was published in parentheses at the end of the relative sentence. The author's last name corresponds with the entry on the reference page, allowing readers to look up the source of the citation. The following sentences illustrate some examples of how to cite within the body of the paper. Proper citation is absolutely key to academic integrity. So if you say those words, Smith from the 2013 article needs to get cited. According to Jones, many students who fail to cite their sources will receive poor grades from their work. 2012. We'll get to that. In a 2011 article, Brown makes the case that citing sources will make academic work more authoritative, giving the students an air of trustworthiness. There's nothing after that. Why? Because they talked about the article and the date in there. They gave them credit in there. So here, according to Jones in 2012, they actually cite it in the sentence. So for a case where you say the name, it's just the date. And in a case where you say the name and the date in the article, you don't have to cite it after. Just make sure you cite it. Direct quotes, the use of exact words, should be kept to a minimum. In cases where there is absolutely no other way to accurately state a piece of information, or if the exact wording used by the author is important, such as a line from a novel, then direct quotes may be used. May. They don't like this. This is just not a great idea. They should, however, be fewer than 4 lines long and should be used infrequently. Direct quotes should be in quotation marks, and a page number should be provided along with the author and the date in the citation. See right here. The following sentence illustrates a properly cited direct quote. According to Brown, there's your author, without properly citing authoritative sources for their papers, some students may find themselves receiving poor grades. End quote. The date, there's the author in there, the date and the page. So if you're direct quoting, you then have to put the page on there. Let's go to your reference page. Your reference page is a separate page. Do not put it on the bottom of your body of work. It's a separate page with a title. It says you can use the title references. Start the reference list on a new page centering the title reference and alphabetize the entries. Do not underline or italicize the title. Double space, that's interesting. This is italicized. Huh. Every source, I guess you could. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. No. I see what they're doing. They're doing an italicized, not the source is italicized where it came from, not the title of the article. Okay, you understand this? The title of the article is not italicized, neither is the author, but where it came from is italicized, where you found it. Okay, New England Journal of Writing Style, Journal of Exquisitely Correct Writing. Okay. All are double spaced. Every source mentioned in the paper should have an entry. If you do your paper and you only have one reference, the paper is not valid. You need to have 2 articles. There have to be a minimum of 2 references. You do not have to do more than 2. If you happen to do more, they have to be in all of this, in this exact style of reference. The second line of the reference receives a hanging indent. That is the APA reference. So you can see how it indents in. If you do this wrong, already you're 3 points out of 9 down. So this is the setting. You can find the way to find the hanging APA reference if you go to your Word document and you go on page layout, paragraph, indent and spacing, indentation, and special. You can find APA. Okay. Now's the time for questions. Questions.
How many pages should this essay be?
They say that it shouldn't be really much more than 5. It's usually like a 3 to 5 page paper. Let's go to, I'm going to share again for half a second, and we'll go to your class. Let me get out of here. And let's go back to your class. Okay, let's go to week 10. Okay, so you're going to review. Okay, so it says welcome to week 10. You're going to use what you've already learned in week 5 and add another article through APA Psych Info. That's how you're getting it. Remember, you're getting it through the library again. That's how you log in, through the library. All that information you can. I have everything. I have everything recorded from week 5. So if you forget how to do the library stuff, you can just go to week 5 over here and you can watch our video with the librarian. Okay, that's the video of the librarian. So if you don't remember how to do it, you can go back and do it. So this is going to be basically a review. And then it tells you if you need help, you should use the writing center to help you. Then you're going to take a video quiz on how to do the psych paper and the APA citation. Okay, you're going to watch a video on APA citation again and do a quiz on that. And here you go. Here is, after you've done the videos, you are going to write your paper. It's a 3-page paper that reviews 2 articles. What does the prior research tell us about the topic? What did your articles find? Why are these findings important? Okay, so here they have basically summarized what I showed you on that other piece of paper. So it's broken down for you. Questions?
How many like paragraphs are usually these, like you'd say? Like, should you break it up?
If you use the headings, then you're going to have the 4 to 6 sentences on one article, the 4 to 6 sentences on the other article, and then you're going to tie them together. So if you use headings and go that way, it will be like it'll be 2 big paragraphs and then a smaller paragraph that kind of loops the information together. This is not a big deal. I mean, even though we're talking about a 3 to 5 page paper, you're talking about having already done the work, hopefully the right way. And I gave you guys lots of feedback when you were doing it so that anything that you did wrong, you should correct on the first article and then do it again for the second article. So basically, you're breaking down 2 articles and then bringing them together. Does that help you?
Yeah, that does a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Questions. Now's the time. Now's the time to ask those questions.
So that thing that you were just sharing before with all that information on it, will that be available for us to see?
Yes. I'm going to load it right into your module as soon as we're done.
Okay.
So, but you're going to have reviewed it 2 and 3 times in the module, because what they're going to do is you're going to review all that stuff and then take quizzes on it. So
okay.
you're going to be completely proficient on what's expected of you by the time you do it. Because the first one's going to be all about writing the literature review paper, and it's very catered to you guys, exactly what this is. And then it's going to reinforce with another little video and quiz about how to do the proper APA format.
Okay.
So you'll have gotten it ad nauseum by the time you're ready to write the paper.
And the paper itself is due Saturday.
That everything's due by midnight on Saturday. I have to tell you guys, you know that I can see when you submit. I don't know if you know this, but I get the exact date and time that you submit things. So when you write to me and you're like, nobody replied to my post. Well, because you posted it on Saturday at 11:47. Of course, nobody replied to your post. That happened. There's so many of you that are procrastinators. Now, I'm a procrastinator too, but I have learned through the years that you don't help yourself that way. I get it because I am somebody that kicks it into high gear at the last minute. But if you're a little more prepared, it could be easier for you, which is why I kept chapter 10 open as soon as we did chapter 5. I told you guys I was opening up chapter 10 so that you didn't wait till November 10th to start this. Now, maybe some people did, maybe some people didn't. There's no way for me to know that. I'm just saying that make your life easier. The good news is you have nothing else but those 2 quizzes to take and to write this paper this week. So if you take, like, when we're done, to take the time to do the quizzes, because we're not going to be on till 11:15 today, because it's 10:02, you know. So take your quizzes now, make sure you have an article, and then spread it out, you know, make it work, or finish it and be done. Done. Questions? Now's the time to ask those questions.
So the paper is due on Saturday, correct? The whole paper?
Yes, the paper is, here's the rubric right here. So you can see exactly the same thing I showed you. It tells you. And then it is due on Saturday. Saturday the 19th. Let's just make sure. Huh. Oh no, it's available. Okay, wait. It is due the 14th. It's due the 14th. I keep the chapters open. The reason you see this December 19th on here is because of the final. I mean, not that this chapter is important for the for the final per se, but all the other chapters are. And if I didn't keep it available, you'd never be able to go back and study. So you know your final is cumulative, so it's available till the end of the semester.
What do you mean by that? That the final is cumulative?
Chapters 1 through 15 is on the final.
Oh.
All of it.
Will there be a
your
study guide or no?
Say again?
Like, will you send like a study guide or?
So it's already all organized. And so that final week has quizzes and stuff to help reinforce all the information from the chapter. We're going to go over, I haven't done it yet. I was waiting to get through this chapter. I'm taking a course in how to take your finals, and I do it as a student. They're having us learn, because if you have to have a camera that has to be on. So if you don't have a camera, you better go out and buy one, because you have to have a camera. It has to be on, and you are taking this test through a website called Responder Lockdown, I think it's called. And so it somehow like locks your computer, it locks everything. And so they're watching you take the final, I believe. Who they is, I don't know, and maybe it's me, I don't know. I'll let you know after I take the course. So I'll be taking the course like next week, and I'll let you know what it's like. But it is cumulative. It means that everything from the week 1 all the way to week 15. Week 15 is a presentation on your papers. I wonder if I opened up week 15. Hold on.
It's here.
Let me just look at week 15.
Yeah, it's open. You can see it.
Okay, because I tried to keep everything going. Whoops.
So the PowerPoint that's due is just related to the essay that we're writing this week?
Exactly. Actually,
Okay.
it's super easy, because everything that's in your paper is just going to be put on slides. So here it says, we're not done with psychology yet. Remember that literature review paper? It's time to create a presentation based off of what you learned. They'll give you resources. Now, what we used to do was we used to make you go out and buy a tri-fold board, okay? And you would literally have to type up stuff and put it on a tri-fold board. But because we're not in class and it wouldn't make sense to have a board, they're having you do at most a 10-minute presentation on what you learned, okay? So I've got to figure out if we're going to do them in class or you're just going to present it. I think you just send it to me, which is kind of a bummer because it really should be shared with the class. The whole point is if you learn something, you should share it with everybody. I mean, I don't need, in this class, I have like 25, and in my other class, I have like 23. I don't need 57 learning things. Like, everybody else should be learning. So whatever, we'll see what we can do with that. So you can see here, responder, monitor, and lockdown browser quiz. Okay, so that's where you guys are going to take, I guess that's what I'm doing next week. And then you are going to need to download this responder lockdown browser and have a webcam. And then there's a discussion about the cumulative final exam. So that is, and that's the end. That is the end of it. So I'll figure out if it's better that maybe I make the webinar, the PowerPoints due at the end of 14. I'll figure it out. So you're going to take a presentation video quiz, which will tell you how to do that PowerPoint. Then you record it and send it, and it's due. And then you're also that week taking your final exam. So again, I didn't make this up. This is from the psych department. This is their schedule.
Are you the only one reading our thing, or is like the whole psych department, whatever it's called?
No, I believe that I am the only one reading your PowerPoint and grading you. But I don't like that you have on the same week your PowerPoint due and your final exam. I kind of would prefer that you have the rest of the week to study for the final exam. So I might change the due date on your PowerPoint. I'm just giving you fair warning now, because just to organize yourselves. You don't need the stress of the PowerPoint and the final exam in the same week. That's a lot. So I might change the date of your PowerPoint due. What I would recommend that you do is when you are done with your paper, pop over here to week 15. Do these things like the video quizzes and stuff if you can, and maybe even start your PowerPoint and get it done with. But I'm probably going to switch your timeline. I'm probably going to make your PowerPoint be due sooner so that it's not all in the same week. Giving you warning now. You're hearing it from the source now. Okay. Questions?
For final exam, do we have essay?
I don't know. I wish I could answer that question. I don't know because I haven't seen it yet, which is probably part of the reason that they're having us do this course next week, is that they want us to see the final exam. I don't make it up. It's the department. Everybody is getting the same exact, I assume the same exact, but I could be wrong. I mean, who knows? Maybe everybody gets it downloaded differently. It shuffles. I will let you know. What I do know, and it says it right here, the final exam is cumulative and will take place at the end of the semester. It's worth 10% of your grade, and you will need a webcam for the final exam. So the majority of you guys are not on webcams. You need a webcam. You cannot take the test without it. So you don't want to fail that because you don't have a webcam. So make sure you get one. Mine's a El Cheapo. Oh, you can't see it. There's no way for me to show you what it is, but it just attaches because I have a desktop in my bedroom. As you know, we're in my bedroom. So we have.
Wait, can you repeat that one more time? What do we need?
You have to have a webcam. You have to have a webcam to take the final. You will fail if you do not have a webcam. You have to take it with a webcam. So mine's a cheapy thing from Office Depot. I can't show it to you because it is the webcam, so there's no way to show it to you, but I could take a picture. It's just a little webcam that sits on top of my desktop in my bedroom. Like all of my laptops and stuff all have them, but my desktop didn't have one, so I had to go out and buy one. So you're going to have to get one. Questions? So everybody totally understands what they have to do this week. That is due by Saturday at midnight. Do not wait till Saturday to do this. I am giving you like an hour back. Well, it's really more like a half an hour back now. But the half an hour is more than enough time to go get your second article and start doing that research worksheet on the second article. And then all you're doing is consolidating it using the guidelines. So you should not have a problem. Everybody good? Thumbs up.
So you're the only one reading our articles, or is anybody, or is like the whole department doing it too? I'm so
Amanda, you're
confused.
very nervous about the whole department.
Because like I'm just scared. Like it's weird, you know?
Just me. It's just me reading all 57 papers.
Oh, because I thought since like the whole department does the thing, it's like
It's
awkward.
not the whole, it's not even the whole department. It's what you have to understand is every professor that teaches intro to psych has to read, depending on 20. I mean, the norm for a class is 25 people. That's the norm. I mean, I let people normally in my classes, I let people, if as long as there's a seat, you know, and in this case, virtually, you can fit. You know, I let as many people in as need intro to psych. Like, I don't care if I'm teaching, I'm teaching. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, every teacher is reading 25 papers for every single one of their classes. So I teach two. One is remote live, you guys, and one is virtual, which I feel terrible, but I never see them. It's so weird. Like, can you imagine? I just can't even. Maybe you're taking other virtual classes. I think it's crazy to not be able to interact and ask questions and do stuff like this. So, which is why I tape this class for my virtual class so that they get the same learning. So when we say the whole department, everybody who teaches an intro to psych class, there's 280 adjuncts in psychology. Now, there's not 280 intro to psych classes, or maybe there is, but it's 25 papers per class for the
Because
teacher.
I thought, you know how we do the quizzes and we reply to each other on the thing? I always thought like, you know, the department or something reads, but I like
The
everyone's
department could, I'm not going to lie to you. At any point, if they want to make sure that I'm giving you proper direction and you are following, because I could be that teacher that says, don't do the discussion board that week. I could, I wouldn't, because that's not who I am, but they could check to make sure that we're following protocol. They can easily check in. But I don't think anybody's taking the time to do this with all the, 200 intro to psych classes. And they could read my papers if they'd like, because that would be fine instead of me. But they're not. So don't worry about it. Any other questions?
For the video, do we have to look nice? Or can I be in my pajamas?
Okay. Well, for your PowerPoint presentation, it's a
Mhm.
PowerPoint, so you don't really have to. For the final, you are definitely on a webcam. So I do not look nice. Okay, let's just be clear. There's no nice here. My hair is like a rat's nest. I'm wearing a sweatsuit. It's fine. There's no nice in this classroom. But you will be on a webcam for your final. Anything else? Anyone? Anyone? We good? If we're good, we're out.
You don't know the setup of what the final looks like yet, right?
Not yet. I will take it next week as
Okay.
part of learning about the responder. So hopefully next week, it might be the week after. I had to sign up, and so they put you in slots to do it.
Okay.
So I don't know what they created the final. If I was creating the final, it would be a multiple choice. I don't know. I'm not making it up. I'm a multiple choice girl because I want you to recognize what you already know. That's my teaching method, is that you
Well, I guess it would really only make sense because the basis of everything we pretty much did this semester was like reading through it, multiple choice. You know what I'm saying?
So that's probably what it is.
Well, let's hope they stuck with the theme.
I agree. I hope so too. The last thing that we want is a stressful situation. The goal is to learn. And we all know that when your stress level goes high and your anxiety, you don't remember things the same way. So we don't want an anxious situation. We want an easier situation to boost your grade.
Right.
The goal is to do well.
Right.
So I will let you know when I know.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? and go. Everybody have a good week. I will have a lot of
you too.
papers to read on Saturday.
All right,
Thank
take care,
you.
Professor.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Chile, sácame de aquí.
Okay, bye.